So why don't we start there with, you starting in a small town in Colorado, and what was the inciting incident to be from script terms that got you out, that wanted you to go out?
I don't even know I don't know what the incident was, other than I was working for this oil development company as a secretary, and I was sitting at my desk going, I should live in Hawaii.
Why is that?
Because why not? I was 20 something. I had no reason to just be sitting there in Boulder, Colorado, typing for somebody. Like, I just decided I should be in Hawaii.
So when you're doing these events, how did you get into, I think this is the next chapter, that you went from doing that to the personal development events, or
I totally did. So what happened was I left Hawaii and I went back to Colorado and worked for the Denver Polo Club for a little while. And I met someone there who worked with Brian Tracy. And so when I decided to go to San Diego, it was about a year later, because I didn't want to be in the snow anymore. Your blood sort of thins when you're in Hawaii for that long. And I was like, I think I need to go back to the beach. And I could still ski from San Diego, so it kind of worked out good. And
well, you went to San Diego after Hawaii.
I went Hawaii, Colorado, San Diego.
Now, okay, and Brian Tracy was in San Diego.
Yeah, so I worked
which
with
is like
Brian.
A hotbed for personal growth people. Tony Robbins is there. A lot of people are there in San Diego.
Yeah, so I dropped in, like I got a job with Brian through a friend, and then worked with Brian for quite a while, and then my friend's roommate worked for Tony and told Tony about me, and I ended up going to work for Tony Robbins and coordinating his certification program, which is now.
What year was that?
That was, I did Cert 90. So I went to work for Brian in 88. Yeah.
Okay. So that's like right around when Tony was doing those seminars at his castle still.
Yep.
In San Diego.
Absolutely.
Del Mar.
Had Christmas at the castle. Mm-hmm.
Great. And did you plan events there?
I didn't plan them at the castle. I worked with him on the first Financial Destiny, which we did at the L'Auberge in Del Mar.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
my date with Destiny was the first one at the L'Auberge. It was the first date with Destiny that wasn't at the castle, and there was 70 people in it.
No kidding! Wow.
Yeah. Now
small group.
Yeah.
And what was Tony like back then as opposed to now? Is it any different?
I don't know that there's any difference. I mean, he's always been a very passionate, committed, driven man to do whatever it takes to help other people. And it's still who he is. I don't see him that often, but when I do, it's a big hug and how are you? And he's still changing lives and doing amazing things. And if there's anybody who can adapt to what's going on in a marketplace, it would be Tony.
You've had a lot of you plan these events, these personal growth guys, these guys that are big at what they do in their industry. Mm-hmm. They respect you. They trust you. That's got to not put some burden on you. How do you handle that? Like, what are some of the things that you've learned to do for some of these guys that are high achievers, right? Because you're doing these events for the guys that are at least that's these guys are great.
Mm-hmm.
They're just they achieve. They're goal setters. They're the atypical go getters. How do you do what you do to make them happy?
I think it's just who I am. But one of the things that I do is if you're in this position, whether you're producing the event or, working with the staff or whatever, I think it's something that I learned way back, from my mom, way back when we're all the same. We're all in this together. It doesn't really matter. And not being starstruck, I have this ability to keep things calm. And a lot of them have told me that, I'm like, I don't need to be there. Like, you don't need me. The team's got it. I don't have to be there. But then it's like, no, you have to be here. I'm FedExing you a check. You just have to be here because I know if you're here, everything's going to stay calm. And, when things go wrong, you have to be able to adjust, correct and continue, kind of use that ready, fire, aim philosophy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people say, just fire, aim, ready, or some they fire first. When I promoted events, when I did big events, I have I don't want to call it ADHD or whatever you call it. Hate to give it, credence, but a very hyperactive personality that likes to do many things at once. So it's easy for me,
It's a talent.
night of. What's that?
It's a talent. People say, "Oh, it's ADHD." I'm on that team, but I think it's a huge blessing and a talent for us because you can see 5 things happening at once and then deal with them. It's like, okay, this piece goes here, this piece goes here, this piece goes here, and I think that that's a